No problem.
But yeah, I'd go a little bit over if we get heated. But... And then after dinner, I should be on and sort of we can play a bit of Xbox.
Me too.
I think Tilly's playing Sims tonight and stuff. So
fuck yeah.
Yeah, on me. Yeah, we're live by the way.
It's fantastic. I had a big brunch today. I took the brunch roll. Yeah.
How was that? I love a good brunch.
It was wonderful. Lovely weather.
You sit outside.
Had a cider. Sat outside in the sun.
Nice.
Boston Tea Party.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We tried to get
I'm a fan.
Those ones, but the wait was too long. But no, I've never actually been.
This is the first time I've been to one, and it wasn't like absolutely crammed.
Yeah, which is weird considering it's a nice day and it's a bank holiday weekend. But
yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't really make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. Oh well, let me just quickly get in the control room for the stream. Yeah, tweet us out on socials.
So Timmer wants to give us a retweet. Get us out there. Appreciate you, Timmer. And welcome to the show, buddy. But yeah, no, I just we've had a pretty chill start to the day. Well, I say start, it's 5 now, but like it's been a pretty just chill day to be honest. We went out for a little walk just now, got coffee, went around the little pond and stuff, and we had one of those. I don't know if you've seen the advert for it, but the like new Ferrero Rocher ice creams, pretty good actually. Pretty good.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, not bad. So yeah.
Okay. We are live on socials. Hopefully our new elected mod will be swinging by sometime soon.
Hopefully, because I've messaged
he's
him
awake
privately to pop off in chat, and if he doesn't get banned, then Joaquin's not doing his job.
Yeah, we've got a stooge to test him out.
Yeah, exactly. This is a test. I've
Who's this guy?
At Timmer, a whole page of slurs that he can choose from. Feel free to go ham, man.
See if our mod does his job. I'm a bit scared to start this episode, to be frank with you.
Oh, there he is. Our mod's here. He's got a little wrench by his neck.
He's got a little wrench there. Look at him go. There he goes.
Nice.
It's proof.
But yeah, I'm totally with you. This week has been rough. Sometimes just to check in and check out. So, see you guys. Good episode, yeah.
That's good. I really enjoyed this. Okay.
Oh, I haven't even got the notes up. But yeah, you start.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Quick Resume podcast. This is episode 98. Can you believe it? 2 episodes from 100, and we have to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this slop.
I don't want to do it.
We have to endure this agony 2 away from 100 episodes. And actually, slightly off topic, I was thinking for our 100th episode is nearly on the showcase day, and I think that's very cute.
Oh, really? So what? This is 90. What did you say? 98.
This is 98, so it'll be the 21st. So we'll be 2 weeks early. So I think for our 100th episode, we do our studio tier list again, assuming it's not really busy news week.
Okay. Yeah.
We did that last year.
Yeah, I'm game. Yeah. Arcane's like F tier now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. They're literally from S to F.
Yeah. How the mighty have fallen.
Oh.
That's how we should have titled this episode.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. Although it's Arcane Austin, which people argue is not the most talented out of all the studios. I think people argue. What's the other one? Arcane Montreal.
Leon.
That's it. Leon. More talented, but I mean?
Well, it depends who you ask, because
Yeah, because
a lot of people love Prey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Austin did Prey. Yeah.
They collaborated. They both collaborated on, I think, both the Dishonored. Leon was all Deathloop, but yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, well, hi. If you haven't been here before, everyone, hi. I'm Deck. That's Tim.
Hello.
Jesus, that was cold, wasn't it?
Hello. Oh, I'm not gonna be
Hello.
like, hi, I'm Tim, and I like fucking red velvet cake. It's the 98th episode.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, you've lagged out again. You're still here, but you've lagged out. Maybe he's not still here. Maybe he's just straight gone, fellas. Is Deck here? Let me know in the chat.
I'm here.
You are here. Okay. You might need to sort out your Wi-Fi situation. You just had a big old spike.
Yeah, that's very strange.
At least on my end. So bear with us while Deck sorts his.
I've got an Xbox Series to move this out of the way.
Okay. You do that. I think I heard half of that. But yeah. So, how's everyone else doing on this lovely Sunday? While Dex sorts out his internet connection. Is our mod, Joaquin, you nicely rested? Had a good night's sleep? Oh, he's gone. And there's two of me. Let's go. What a show. What a show, everyone. Yeah, just bear with us while Deck sorts out his connection. Shan't be long. Oh, you did have a good night's sleep. Well, I'm proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you. This is going to be not a very nice episode in regards to talking about Xbox and Redfall, and even just other things as well. Like there's some other games that hit a lot lower than I was expecting this week. That came out. So yeah, not the best, but
Hello?
you back. Hello.
I'm sorry. I don't know why. Maybe I've been IP like DDoSed by Xbox because they know what's about to happen. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. We're quite high in the industry. Like
we're big voices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're big voices.
That's true.
We make waves. At the very least. All right. What have we been playing? I guess we should do that. Have you done that without me?
No, I didn't. What have I been playing this week? I finished Jedi Fallen Order I've been playing it on PlayStation.
Hell yeah.
With my
playing on PlayStation.
Yeah, because Tilly has it on PlayStation, and she wanted the trophies. And then I equally said I wanted the achievements, and well, I guess we know who won that battle. So
you compromised and got it on PlayStation.
no, she already had it on PlayStation. Yeah, so I ended up just playing it on there. So yeah, although my Xbox profile says I haven't completed it, I have, I promise. Yeah, no, it's good. It was a good game. Really good. The ending was fire, like you said.
So fire.
Yeah, really, really good. Pretty epic. For anyone who hasn't played it, I don't want to spoil it. I'm sure everyone here has, but yeah, no, it was good. Really good game. There's some jank in there. I had some pretty janky experiences in that game. And Cal has some weird movements with his bodies sometimes that don't really look very natural. But overall, the game is solid. Yeah, like it's a solid fucking like 8 out of 10 for me, like easy. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. And that's about it.
Yeah, I think I put it in a similar range when I played it. I think it was around 8.5 when I played it. Wonderful game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did great with it, Respawn. And I'm kind of excited to eventually play Survivor. You know, when it gets a little bit less buggy, drops in price, you know, all that sort of stuff. So,
that's right.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking like maybe I'll get it for like my birthday, Survivor, because I've got my birthday coming up at the end of the month. But then I was just like, I prefer if a family member wanted me to get me a game, just pre-order me like Diablo or something like on my Xbox, because I'd rather have that than Survivor. So yeah, but that's all I've been playing really. To be honest, I don't think I've been playing.
Well, there is one more thing we've been playing, but I just wanted to. Chat would never guess. No one will ever guess what we've been playing. And I could give quite a lot of clues, and you would still never guess. So pucker up, open your ears, both of you. We got everyone in the chat. Co-op strategy game. Cartoony, hand-drawn graphics. The developers are Xbox-associated indie developers, famously known for Summer of Arcade games back in day.
I think it released in around 2016 to 2017. It was somewhere around that margin.
Sounds about right.
2017, I think.
You will just never guess. You will never guess.
Dungeon. I don't even know what that is, Joaquin, so no, you're wrong. Ban yourself. We could drop a even bigger hint. We could literally just say. Well, I'll just say. I know they developed. I'll just name one of the games they developed, not their most flagship one. They did.
Yep.
They did Alien Hominid, didn't they? Yeah,
they did.
They did Alien Hominid.
I still don't think you'll get it.
And Battle Block.
Does anybody know what this game is? And Battle Block Theatre.
Yeah.
Their MO, their modem operandus, Castle Crashers. What game are we talking about? What was their most recent game? Go on. It's Pit People.
Yeah.
Pit People. But yeah,
People.
Never heard of that, have you? Yeah.
No one has.
It's from the Behemoth. If you don't know, we started the game ages ago. We were a big fan of that dev team. Castle Crashers played it. Battle Block Theatre played it. I think we did play Alien Hominid back in the day. That was the first game, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. All of their games are top notch. They're always Xbox associated. Pit People was their most recent one. Yeah, it was a while back. And it was like a strategy take on what they usually do. You know, really silly, really funny. Just though the writers are just constantly baked all the time, and it's funny as fuck.
yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, I think the main premise of this game is after a giant galactic space bear crashed into a planet and has caused like a post-apocalyptic world, and it rains acid blood from its body. And
just facts.
That's literally like the premise of this game. But yeah, it's good fun. It's not the best sort of game I've played in that sort of area. I think the humor and the sort of style carries it quite a lot. Like I think the combat is good, but I do think everything is a little bit spongy sometimes. Like every encounter takes quite a while and stuff like that. But overall, it's a fun game. It is fun.
Yeah. I'd agree. It's executed really well. As a co-op game, it's executed very well. Like you just do all your turns, you press yes, and then it just all does it. Yeah, there's no like simple. Waiting for someone to do their thing. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So there's that. I finished Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
You know, Xbox Game Studios. Ghostwire Tokyo. That's good. I enjoyed it. Like I said last week. Technically really disappointing, especially as it's been a year since release. I don't know what's going on there. There was some collectathon bits in the game that I enjoyed more than I thought I would, because it like directly integrates into your XP and progression, and the progression in that game is really fun. And the story came together quite nicely at the end as well, actually. It was quite surprising. I put it in like the 7.58 range. Not sure where, but I put it in that range. But it's good, enjoyable, worth a play if you're into that. Didn't drag on. I think I finished in like 16 hours or something. I didn't do much side stuff. I did some every now and then. But yeah, really interesting world. It's good.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's kind of where it sort of averaged out, wasn't it? For Xbox, and it's like with all of its updates and releasing more as like a finished product, it sort of evened out around the sort of like high 70s, 80s mark, wasn't it? Did it even out low 80s? I think.
I don't think it got to 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will say, once they iron out the technical issues and the input lag, easy 8.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks really cool, and I definitely do want to get around to it. And yeah, I'm kind of looking for something else to pick up again since the utter shitstorm that Redfall was, and I refused to boot it up. We'll be talking about that, obviously. So I'm kind of looking for something. Obviously, I want to continue like Midnight Suns probably, but I'm not sure if I want to also dip my toes and do like some Ghostwire or something, because I'm in the habit of completing games at the moment, man. What can I say?
It's so impressive. It's big dick energy. It really is.
I'm oozing right now.
I started Hogwarts Legacy yesterday.
I didn't even know you had that.
Beth has it, but I'm doing that funny trick where if she's signed in, I can play it on my account.
Oh, so you got it on disc, have you? Or did she buy it digitally?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
She's got it digitally. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I'm a Ravenclaw. No big deal.
Oh, I'm Hufflepuff.
What, you fucking tree hugger?
Right, man. I didn't say anything about your house.
Dickhead.
Why are you going in on mine?
Mortal enemies. Although I did, because Ravenclaws are like the nerds, and I got taken to the common rooms, and immediately I went in, and this guy was like, and he like did a prank, he like threw a dung bomb, and I was like, I'm surrounded by dorks. Like, I've made a mistake. I'm just gonna bully them. I'm just gonna be in Ravenclaw. I'm gonna be the bully. I'm gonna be the commons bully.
Yeah, man. You do that. You're the cool Ravenclaw. That's what you are.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you. But it's quite impressive. I've got to admit, it looked nicer than I thought it did on videos. I don't know. I always thought it looked good, but it looks a lot nicer in motion and on my screen.
Yeah, it's
and the world is.
Yeah.
And the world is very cool so far. I haven't played much. I've played like an hour and a half. Quite slow to start, but the bits that I have played in the tutorial on the combat, it's quite smooth. Like the combat's like surprisingly snappy and it just feels quite kinetic. Quite impressive so far. I'm quite excited to get back to it.
Yeah, it feels. I mean, I played a large majority of that game. I can essentially say I completed that game. With my missus. She did like a lot of the side stuff and stuff like that, and a fair amount of the main story too. But I basically played it from start to finish. So yeah, it's a really good game, man. And the combat only gets better as you get more and more spells as well, because everything just sort of clicks. And you like juggle people. You like lift them in the air and fling them and pull them towards you and blow them back, and then you get like
hell yeah,
you get like additional effects on your spells, like. If you use like the fire spell, it casts like a ring of fire around you as well. So then you like, there's just like cool stuff. I mean, I think overall it's still relatively simplistic, but it just feels good once you start juggling like all the different spells and stuff like that, and you can do some pretty fun stuff with it. It's a good game. It is a good game, and they've just added arachnophobia to it as well. Like all the spiders,
I saw that
blobs on like roller skates and stuff like that now. And Tilly messaged me and she was like, "I can go back and complete the Forbidden Forest now." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
that was basically my job. Whenever she was in the Forbidden Forest, she just handed me the controller and I just fought the spiders. It's ironic because I don't like spiders either. But yeah,
you like spiders less.
Yeah, exactly. I don't quite fling the controller across the room when I see one. It's not that bad. But yeah.
That's rough. And I should also mention as well, I've been playing We Were Here. Which, by the way, I mentioned this before, but shout out to the Xbox's store, man. Like, I've just started like dipping into it again because I've just been like a Game Pass main, and I am a Game Pass main. But I've been looking for some smaller things in the last few months, and there's a couple of things I've come across which have like good deals. I can add stuff to my wish list. It has a basket system. It's just good. That store is a good store. It gets the thumbs up approval from the Quick Resume podcast.
It's come a long way.
Yeah, it's come a long way. And We Were Here is like an online-only co-op puzzle game. I don't know if you've heard of it. There's like 4 of them. We Were Here 2, We Were Here Together, and We Were Here Forever. I fucking know. So something like that. Really good. Wow. Some of the best co-op puzzle games I've played. Good pacing, great puzzles. you've got to do it over the walkie-talkie in game. So it's only one of you can speak at a time. There's like a bit of a story element in it as well, real big mystery, a bit of a story being told as to what happened and why you're there. Very atmospheric. Yeah, just really, I love little games like that. And at the moment, you can get the first one for like 60p, and the second and third one for like £1.50 each. So probably like $2 a piece. So super cheap. If you're interested in anything like that, would totally recommend.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, I never heard of them. I gave them a little Google. Sorry, after you mentioned it, and they do look quite fun. I mean, I haven't really sort of dipped into that genre since properly, I guess, since like Portal. Like Portal 1 and 2 we played, and that was fun. I guess if you can count like It Takes Two and stuff like that, I guess maybe, but it's definitely a genre I don't play very often, but it'd be interesting to see sort of how like long they are sort of per game, if they're that cheap, or like what kind of price were they when they first came out? Were they like sort of $7.99 games, like full price anyway?
I don't know. I mean, you can get all four of them bundled together for about 26 quid. So this was absurd to get the first three for a fiver,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So probably like a few hours a piece, or 4 hours a piece maybe.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Did you never play Escape Academy?
Escape Academy?
Yeah, it was like an escape room game.
No, I don't think I've ever.
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a day one Game Pass game. It's for sure a couples game. It's fucking sick. That one's split screen, so you can actually play it locally. I played it with Beth as well. All the couples I know who've played that have loved it. Would recommend it. It's really good.
Oh, okay.
As well. Similar sort of thing.
Literally never heard of it. So yeah, all right, okay, I'll give that a go. Nice.
All right, rad.
Right.
All right, everyone. Well, if you're here, I know what you're here for. I know exactly why you're here. It's no secret. Because we're handsome. We're good looking, and you just want to look at us and listen to our voices, our Cockney voices for 2 hours. Really, we could speak about anything, couldn't we? And you'd probably be here for that. There might have been some Xbox news. Something happened this week.
Something
I'm hesitant.
Yeah.
I am hesitant because I'm gonna doom.
I mean, we gotta.
I'm gonna doom.
It deserves. We gotta do it.
And then I'm gonna gloom, but then I'm also gonna be.
You're gonna bloom.
I'm gonna try and be balanced. I'm gonna bloom. That's a good one. We're gonna doom, gloom, and bloom. Why has nobody thought of that before? That is genius.
Yeah.
This is why Tim is the latent brains of the show. All right. Well, let's do the honourable mentions then. Tim, there's a Ghostwire Tokyo and a Jedi Survivor dynamic background. This is probably in preparation for the new UI coming out at some point. They look lovely. The Jedi one isn't very dynamic.
Yeah,
it looks cool nonetheless. For fun.
It's okay. It's a bit dark and a bit boring for my taste. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of sleek looking, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not what I want out of a dynamic background, really. But
yeah, I'm with you.
Each to their own. Yeah. But the Ghostwire one is fire, and I have that on currently. I had the Redfall one on, but as me and Deck discussed, I couldn't look at it anymore. I couldn't look at
what
could have been, so I took it off and put a Ghostwire on. Which admittedly is probably a nicer background anyway, but yeah.
I don't know, man. I really do like that background, but it just stings too much. And I bet we weren't the only ones to do that either. I bet a lot of people are like, fuck this. Because I actually think that's like a really cute thing that Xbox can do, where they release a dynamic background for one of their games in advance to like get you in the zone, to get you in the mood.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. But then, of course, if the game isn't so hot, so it's like, I don't want to look at this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's really cool, but it could equally just backfire even more.
For sure. All right. Next up, the external storages, the ones that we've got, the Seagate ones that we're all used to, they're lowering in price permanently. They get a permanent price cut. It will be because the Western Digital ones are going to be coming out soon. We don't have a date yet, but I assume that's coming on the horizon, and so they are no longer able to price gouge
Monopolize
the market. Yeah. So that's great. They're still quite pricey, compared to like arguably the PlayStation ones. That's kind of the argument there. But nonetheless, they're coming down in price. Competition getting into that market will help.
Yeah, what we're looking at, because I've still got my HDD. Yeah, I don't have the SSD. I don't know if you do.
Do you not?
No,
Yeah, I do.
I just have internal storage for like my SSD games and stuff like that, and then I just store some on HDD and just move it around.
Yes.
I didn't want to spend too.
Not like you fucking needed it, is it?
Exactly. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, because the only thing you need the SSD for next gen games.
Oh yeah. There's been a couple games recently. What was it? There was one I tried to boot up the other day as well. What was I playing? And it was just like, oh no, you have to play this on internal storage. But I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Redfall. Redfall did give me that notification though. Like you had to play it on SSD. But there was something else as well. And obviously I could have sworn that wasn't a next gen only game. But yeah, regardless, yeah.
It might be that you had the next gen version of it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like an upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's something I'm gonna have to invest in eventually. But yeah, I mean, with how slow this next generation has actually kicked off, I haven't really found I really need it. So yeah. By the time I do need it, the next generation is going to be out anyway. So
don't put that evil on me. I don't want to hear that. Just to give you a sense of price, I haven't got. So the price cuts are now available at a lower price of $89, $150, and $280. So that's for the 500 gig, 1 terabyte, and 2 terabyte. I don't know what that's down from. Sorry, it's a drop of about $80 to $50 on each of them.
Okay. Well,
so yeah. I wonder where it'll be interesting to see where Western Digital come at. If they come in and try and cut them further, that would be great. But I doubt it because they're still the only two players in the market. So,
and I think WD and Seagate tend to be pretty similarly price matched in terms of PC and just external SSD anyway. So I don't think they'll be too different unless, like you said, one actively goes to undercut the other.
Yeah.
Like generally speaking, I think they'll be quite similar. I think.
Yeah, that's my impression as well. I should have mentioned it earlier, but Ghostwire hit 4 million players on Xbox the other day over the weekend, which is a pretty decent player. It hasn't been for that long, has it?
It's big.
It's interesting that we get these metrics quite often. Yeah. I think it's because they never report sales, obviously for obvious reasons. And they're usually quite good. And that rapidly overtook Hi-Fi Rush. We don't know what Hi-Fi Rush is at. It was at 2 mil, like maybe in March, I think they'd said.
Yeah.
We're now at the beginning of May, and Ghostwire's at 4.
I don't want to say I think that makes sense, but I do think that Ghostwire aesthetically is a bit more accessible when people will look at that and think, I would have played that more than Hi-Fi Rush.
I guess so, which is just crazy to me because the people that I have like podcasts and stuff that I've listened to, a lot of people, I mean, obviously Hi-Fi Rush is a gorgeous game. Like, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
But it's just like
in my mind.
So many people see cartoon graphics and they're like, nah, don't want it. I want hyper-realism or nothing, like fantasy or nothing, like a lot of people aren't a fan of that sort of thing. So naturally, it's going to not be as high. But
I want my TV to be like, I'm looking out my window.
Essentially, yeah. So
like open the curtains in the morning.
Dude, what?
I'm so sorry.
It wasn't
I'm
that loud.
Sorry.
It wasn't that loud. Don't worry.
Fucking hell.
The scream was part louder than everything else.
That was part of me that you were never supposed to see, any of you. I'm sorry. I had a really funny bit and now I've lost it. Moment's gone. Fuck it, whatever.
Nice. I mean, that could have been funnier than that. So
So, just to rub salt in the wound, you may remember hotly anticipated Benedict Fox, and we also had Ravenlock as well. Game Pass Day One games. They came in the high 60s.
Yeah,
68 for both of them.
I feel like every game I'm picking this year so far in my fantasy critic is just fucking bombing, and I don't know why. Like, who would have thought that Benedict Fox would get under 70? I mean, and again, it was so like, it was like the forefront of like every like Xbox when it came to like indie games for so long. It's just like, I don't know, man. I just why? Why is this happening?
Sometimes I also just look at the sky and say, why?
Yeah, why?
Why?
Just scream why. Like, because what is that game? It's not a full on exclusive, is it? It's just like a timed or like a. Is it? I don't know.
It'll just be timed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ravenlock. Yeah, I think I know what that is, but.
I mean, it looks kind of neat. It has this cool kind of art style, but yeah, I mean, it hasn't reviewed all that well.
This looks like Xbox are giving up to me.
That's what it looks like, dude. Giving up.
Oh, are you gone again? No.
Am I?
Oh no, you're here voice-wise. Oh no, you're back video. No. You haven't.
I'm sorry.
Whatever it is. Okay, it looks like you might be coming back.
I'm sorry.
I think you're back. You're back.
I've done everything I can, so I'm sorry. I don't know why that's happening.
That's fine. You haven't had one for a while. It's been pretty clear up until that. So. Although, as I say that, another one happens. Right as we move on to the meat and bones of it as well. It's fantastic. We finish our honourable mentions, and Deck starts lag spiking out.
Right at the Redfall bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right at the Redfall bit. I think you're back.
I can see my connection in Discord flux.
Yeah, it is fluctuating. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Just take the show.
Yeah, you might need to kick whoever's on the internet anyway off, but yeah. I think you back. Can't tell.
Just go on to the topic, my man.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we're onto the juicy meat and bones of the episode, and that is Redfall. Everyone. Redfall came out, and Redfall was, safe to say, actually I think I was going to say lackluster, but I think even lackluster is being too nice to it. This game bombed. I haven't even booted this game up. I don't know if anyone in chat, Timmer, Joaquin, I don't know if you guys have actually booted this up yourselves. I just couldn't kind of bring myself to do it. Just based on the fact that I just don't feel like it deserves my time at the moment. Okay, you're saying that Redfall isn't as bad as people are saying. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've seen a fair few arguments about that. I do feel like a lot of people do come out and white knight these games a little bit. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but people like to hated games sometimes, and I've done it in the past as well. But I've been keeping on top of Redfall, regardless of not playing it. I'm on the subreddit. I read news articles about it and watch videos about it, and I try and find positives about it. But for me, man, it's, from what I can tell watching it, it's just a severe lack of polish and AI. AI was my biggest concern going in, and that looks like that has been, I think, most people's biggest gripe with the game, from what I can tell. You seem back now, Deck. But yeah, I feel like that has been the biggest gripe with most people. I've heard people say like world-wise, like it feels pretty empty, and it feels pretty lackluster and stuff like that. Mission design, all that sort of stuff could be more arcane-y, but yeah, it's been a terrible start for Redfall. And I think its Open Critic settled around a 62. I think it's on now. I think it's gone for a
60.
60. It's gone even lower, which is ridiculous because at one point I was like, I wanted this game to hit around 80s, and I said to myself, there's no way it gets below mid 70s. There's just no way. Like, and this shit's like just broke a 60. Like,
how fucking funny is that? It's so funny. Last week we were like, if it doesn't hit an 8, I'm going to be disappointed. He did barely even crank 6. One more point and we're in the 50s.
I almost feel kind of bad mocking Forspoken for what it was when that came out for like PlayStation, and like, albeit Forspoken was a lackluster game. Oh, nice. That was really good. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah,
that was really good.
Cheers.
But yeah, I mean, Wacky Insane, it's just getting fucked because it's an Xbox game as well. It's not a good game, but one of the lowest rated Steam games ever. Fuck no. Arcane's being punished. Legit came off as one of them. Yeah. I mean, I do agree with you to an extent. I do think people are being extra let's dump and shit on this game because Xbox and all that sort of thing. But I also...
Xbox bad.
Yeah. But I said this to Deck as well. Like, and it came out that Xbox seemed to have known that this was... known that this was not a great project from the moment of acquisition, and it just really pisses me off that it's been at the forefront and it's been spotlighted and it's had its own directs and it's been given all of this. Why? If you knew it was bad, why? And I don't care if Arcane wanted to do that or Bethesda wanted to do that. We own them, and if it's a shit fucking product and Xbox didn't want it, they could have not put it on the stage and spotlighted it for all of these people. And essentially, they genuinely just lied. They just lied to us for like 2 years and released a shit game, which they knew was going to be shit.
Well, not only that, they also were dishonest with the performance. I mean,
yeah,
like, I mean, we knew this kind of last week, but and when we kind of said, it feels like they hit a critical bug at the last second, but now the more that's coming out about it, I'm like, actually, did they?
No, like, this game got a delay.
Or was it poorly optimized?
What the fuck state was this game in before it got that delay? Like, I saw a really funny comment that people were just like, they didn't have a game when they delayed it. Like, they made it in those like 2-3 months delay.
Yeah, there was just a vampire emoji on a Word document, and that was it.
Yeah, we got to delay it, guys. I really want to release it, but yeah, no, man, it's rough. I know, yeah, I've seen pretty much every review out there, and I don't see any. I genuinely don't see almost any redeeming quality to play in this game right now. I don't think there's anything in it, at least for me. Like, Joaquin has said he doesn't think it's as bad as people are saying, but for me, I just don't see any reason to boot this game up right now. Seems almost not functional.
No, let's not beat around the bush. This is shit. It's my heart is we're devastated. Me and Tim were messaging each other throughout the day when it came out, and even the day after, and we were just like, the tone of our messages, of our chat, was like the deepest depths of depression. Like, I could feel the mood in the words we were typing to one another.
It was awful. Yeah,
it's just heartbreaking. I mean, like Tim was saying, it is tough because it was marketed a lot, and there was maybe a bit of dishonesty. And we talked about the previews a lot as well in the last few shows, how they were genuinely pretty positive. And now a couple of the previews of the same outlets are like, oh, well, the preview we played felt a bit different. Like, So it sounded like they used maybe a bit of a dishonest vertical slice. They took part of the game and they put a couple of months into fluffing that up and making sure it performed well. The AI was good.
Yeah.
And then that just didn't generalize to the rest of the game. That is just not something. Again, I don't know if it's Bethesda doing that. I don't know if Xbox is doing that. Xbox should know that that's going to reflect badly on them. You take it to the bottom line. When Xbox first saw the project and, supposedly they were saying to themselves, oh, don't know about this. The thought was that when they saw it, it was very much a games as a service. Bethesda had put that on them. We don't know that. There were some leaked screenshots from earlier that had a store in them. Never confirmed. That's the speculation. And at some point, Arcane pushed back and said, this isn't working. And so they did a reboot. We don't know when that happened. At any point, after the acquisition, cancel Redfall. I don't know, man. It wasn't an easy position for anyone to be in.
No, it's tough.
But but it's nonetheless immensely personally disappointing. From a lot of people are really Arcane fans. It's disappointing as an Arcane fan because now we can no longer say Arcane don't miss, because they fucking do. And I don't care how we've got here. This is an immense miss. It's such a blunder. It's not even just mid. This is a blunder. And it's obviously Xbox's first AAA game in 18 months since Halo Infinite, which fine launched well, but has had its own mess. And this is what happened. Every single thing that could have gone wrong in this has gone wrong. Terrible.
Yeah, it's to think that this was our first next gen first party published game is just it's going to go down in the history books. It's really rough, man. And I genuinely almost booked a day off work to play this game, and my god, am I glad I didn't.
Same.
It's just disappointment, really. It's just what it comes down to. I just wanted a fun game, and I would have settled for a game that dropped in the 70s, and I could still have a bit of fun with it. But the fact that they've released something that barely fucking works, I can't even have a bit of fun with it, and that's just ridiculous. And to think that you're charging for this as well, if you're not a Games Pass holder and stuff like that. Anyone who actually bought this game, it's absurd. It really is.
There was a bit of an interesting conversation about this kind of idea of cancelling games, not cancelling games, and how we got here. And it has been suggested. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying this is a conversation that's been had, that because Xbox have Game Pass, they're more lenient with greenlighting games or not cancelling games, because they know that they can put the game out to recoup costs on Game Pass to some degree. It will drive an uptick in subscriptions, even if the game is low quality and they just market it a lot. Yeah,
and I mean, my gripe isn't the fact that this game should have been cancelled. My gripe is the fact that it was marketed and shown as something it wasn't, and it was given so much attention and so much this is one of Xbox's babies going into this year, one of their biggest games, all this sort of stuff, when everyone knew behind the curtains it wasn't that. Everyone knew, and that's what pisses me off. If you're not confident in the product and you didn't like it from the point you acquired them, you didn't want to cancel it, that's fine. You don't want to crush creativity, all that kind of stuff, fine, I'm with you. But just let it release. Just let it go a little bit under the radar. Just be like, oh, hey, this Arcane game came out, didn't hit, and we wouldn't have nearly the shitstorm that we have now. That's my gripe with it. It's the fact that they did that.
I did tweet about this, that they're I don't know, again, and Joaquin's saying this in chat as well, how much of this is the fault of ZeniMax versus Xbox, the state of the game, but also the marketing. There's so much marketing for this game. I've never seen Xbox market a game so much. They put up like a giant sign in Liverpool, Tim. They're making shirts, they're making shoes, they're making controllers. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are we still going? Cancel it all. Cancel it all. Stop it. Like, why are you drawing attention to this?
Yeah, I have
It's
no idea
humiliating.
how all that got green there. Yeah, like you said, like that's the most marketing I've ever seen. You know, they don't even market their flagships, Halo and Gears, like that. So why are you marketing something that you were never confident in and never really liked, and just kind of allowed because you didn't want to be the big bad that went in there and started chopping products? Like, I don't understand how we got to this point. That's what I mean. It's just we've made it's worse. We made it worse for ourselves, like genuinely. And yeah, I don't know how any of this stuff works from a business perspective, but I'm sure this could have been pushed back on. I'm sure like it could have just been like, yeah, we don't actually like this, you know, or we don't think it should be, you know, marketed like this or pushed as one of our big projects going into the next year or whatever. You know, you can still have your release time, your release schedule, but we're just not going to give you a fucking developer direct. We're not going to make merch coming out the ass. We're not going to make fucking billboards. We're not going to like
I don't know, man. It is tricky because, you know, like we were desperate to see, like we say that now with retrospect, but in January we were desperate to see more Redfall, you know. And if they just not shown it, it would have been months of like Redfall's going to suck. So like, I don't know what you pick your poison. You know, a bad game is a bad game, and that's going to generate bad PR. I think Tim was saying this, and he tweeted about this as well. That back before Xbox had bought Bethesda, they were still they had a majority share in. There was a majority share in ZeniMax by Providence Equity, big shareholders, I think, and they had some sway over, you know, creative projects.
Yeah.
The assumption is that Redfall was the back end of the multiplayer projects like Wolfenstein Youngblood, Fallout 76, and the rest. And you know, Xbox acquired that 2 or 3 years into development. Like I said, at some point, maybe rebooted. I don't know, man. Like, I guess the way I see it, and we spoke about this on previous shows, even though we were excited, even though we did talk about maybe a bit of mislabeling in terms of like, so Left 4 Dead, you know, whatever, that's not really relevant to where we are now. Because a lot of people have like I've been called out of that, of like me like trying to say the game was going to be good, and that's not true. I was just trying to clarify the direction of the game. Not that any of it mattered in the end anyway, but people anyway. So it clearly needed more time for the bugs. Like whether the game came together from a design perspective remains to be seen. You know, I'm seeing that some people are playing it, do like the atmosphere, do like the environment, and you know, those are probably the two things from the gameplay that I saw, and I was like, yep, that still looks good. I like the art direction. I like the atmosphere. The rest of it, I was like, oh, I'm concerned. You know, I've got skepticism.
Yeah.
You know, I said before, I'm not sure about the 4 players being split up. Like, you know, it's cool that it's co-op. I'm willing to give that a go, but I'm not sure if there's enough variety in the loop there for just have the small amount of powers that you do, etc., etc. Like, so this is my point. The game could have been delayed another year, let's say, and all of these bugs could be ironed out. The AI works, there's 60 frames, everything else that's wrong with it, the texture streaming, stuff like that, that's all working. The game still gets a 70 because it just hasn't come together in the way, and it's transitioned from games as a service to a more traditional kind of open world sort of game. It just hasn't worked perfectly. It's fine. And in that case, even then, it's like, is that worth it for Xbox? Is it really worth a second delay, another year of bad PR, another year of, can they do it?
Yeah, no, I agree. And if anything, that's just going to draw more attention to it when it drops and when it finally gets that 70, like you said, even after even more delays. And yeah, it's safe to say it could have been even worse than what it is now. But it's, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't think, like you said, this game was ever going to be great. like looking at it now as the product that's released, I think, yeah, even with delays, 6 months, a year, or anything like that, it was never going to be a great game. Obviously we thought that, but obviously now we're looking at it as the product we have. And yeah, with like sort of, yeah, you know, Phil going on, you know, kind of funny and all that, and saying like they're committed to making it better, right? Improving it, giving it 60 frames, you know, ironing out the bugs and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think this game has a Sea of Thieves in it? Or do you think this game should just be left to fucking die?
I don't need it to be left to die. I need it to be brought up to a standard that's acceptable for an Xbox first party in terms of polish and technical.
Yeah, something that someone could download and still have a bit of fun with, you know. That's it. You know,
people cannot be going to Xbox games and it not fucking work properly. It's simple as that. Like if you download a game and it's like, oh well, this is fine, you know, it's not the best game I've ever played, but it works. Okay, you know, it's mid, fine, whatever. Mid game. Some people love mid games every now and then. You know, that's fine. Yeah. That's very different from not ready, not optimized, not working. You know.
Yeah, mate, I've seen like early access games fucking function better than this in terms of frame rate, performance, and just how the game works.
I will say that I don't with Phil's comments, which we will get to like in their entirety. I don't think he means that we're going to have like a 10-year support for Redfall. Right. I think they're going to stick to the commitment of the season pass, get it functioning properly, and you know they'll have a skeleton squad on Redfall. Those poor souls. Yeah. Get it up to that 70 standard, you know, and then move on. It is what it is. This is a big L. Literally nobody wins with this sort of thing happening. There's not even a clear blame. Phil's got on kind of funny and tried to take it all on the chin. I don't really think it's his fault. He's just being Phil. He's just taking accountability for everything like he always does.
Like it paints Xbox in a
interview 101.
Light. Yeah, if he doesn't do that, if he just starts like, yeah, it's fucking awful. He has to take it on the chin, whether or not he wants to or not. Yeah.
And like the reality is, like my estimation is that the fuck up here somewhere was with ZeniMax at some point trying to force some multiplayer components that Arcane just are not equipped to deal with.
No, it's not their fault.
And the game went through several reboots throughout the development because like this has been a long time. You know, 5 years. This is a long development cycle. Considering Arcane are probably on the very lower end. The lower end of a AAA game, you know, or the higher end of a AA, you know, whatever. People try to draw that line, but you know what I'm talking about. They're the lower end of bigger games. That is a long time. That is just, and you know, like I said, it's just personally disappointing because there was one point where I was like, before the release, I found myself getting quite excited. I was like, nah, no way this bombs. It's Arcane. I can't believe I get to play a new Arcane game that's Xbox exclusive on Game Pass in the next few days.
And I get to play it
I've loved all the games.
With a friend, you know, like it's Arcane and I get to play it co-op. It's great, in theory.
Yeah. There's just no way that you don't give someone 2 years worth of trailers and gameplay demos and then don't have them be upset if it's, you know, below expectations. And that's, I guess, you know, part of what Phil spoke about. Like the expectations for a first party game are higher. And, you know, for me, that bar is like an 8. Like subjectively, it's kind of an 8, at least.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you expect to hit. And especially with just how they've gone about showing this game, talking about this game, and doing everything about this game, you expect it to hit that. And yeah, I mean, it never was really, was it? They knew it, and obviously we didn't know that. But now it's very obvious. You know, this game was just. Yeah, it's just really disappointing. It's so disappointing to think back to when this was first revealed, first shown, and how long it's been, and then that's the final product we get. Like seriously,
Yeah.
like almost
Like-
like a non-functional fucking game. Like, come on.
Like,
Like,
and this is
no
shouldn't
one
that
could
be
relate
as
to
such?
that.
No, it should, and this is the thing. It should have been such a fucking slam dunk. I know that's easy to say from the outside, but an Arcane Xbox exclusive slam dunk. Slam fucking dunk. Get that in Game Pass. Most played Arcane game ever. It's an 85 on OpenCritic, maybe even higher. There's nothing else like it on the market because that's what Arcane do. They're the only ones who do immersive sims properly. Easy. No, this is their first fuck up, and it's on. It's an Xbox exclusive. It's their first one for 18 months. For a AAA game. It's just like, man, you could not have written this any worse. Like the sequence of events of how this unfolded.
Yeah, and it's because they try to merge. Yeah, like you said, they just tried to merge and make Arcane do stuff that they couldn't do. You know, like, or they're not used to doing, or that don't necessarily gel well together. I mean, this game made so many of the same mistakes that Fallout 76 made. It is laughable. Like, how the fuck have they made such a similar game to Fallout 76? Like, how's that
It's
happening?
the majority share thing.
Yeah.
It's
But, like, how would they fallen into that trap again? It's like there's like a pit, there's like a hole in the ground, and they just put a rug over it, and they just fucking fell in it again. They just forgot the hole was there. I just don't... How? It's so similar in so many ways, with it being like a fucking empty world, like broken ass AI, the stories told through fucking notes and audio logs that you can't pick up, by the way. You have to fucking stand at the table and listen to it for 2 minutes. If you walk off, you can't hear it anymore. I hate it when games do that. I hate it when games do that. And it's just, and that's all you get. That the story is told through that. And then, like, fucking the cutscenes are lazy. Like, the amount of budget that went into those fucking trailers, and then we get cutscenes like that, dude. Like, what? What? Oh god, I didn't get it. How'd those trailers get greenlit? What's happening? Yeah.
Feel a little bit better.
I feel a little better.
Yeah, man. Like I remember, like, because we were, I'm just scrolling back on our chat, and the day before I was getting really angsty, and I like went into the Redfall Discord, having a look around, and some gameplay started leaking. And it's like seared into my brain because it was an emotional journey, And I saw the first clip, and they like walked out of the gate, and I was like, "Oh, this looks actually like visually better than what we've seen before." I was like, "Okay, nice. Nothing really happened. They just walked out of the gates. Great. Okay." Next clip came out. This YouTuber who's now probably been fucking assassinated by ZeniMax, by Harvey Smith himself. And he walked out. He pulls out this pistol, and there's an oil thing on the floor in a car. And he shoots the oil, and the oil goes up in flames, and that goes towards the car. The car blows up, and I was like, okay, some more systemic immersive sim elements here. It's not anything mind blowing, but it's in this open world. Maybe it'll come together now. And I was like, it looked fine, And then I saw the next clip. Man's got into a fight. A cultist walked into a rock and started like clipping into it and like shaking up and down. I was like, okay, probably an outlier. That's probably not going to happen anymore. Watch the next clip. He walked up behind people and he elbowed them in the back, and they just fell over.
Yeah.
Watch the next clip. A vampire slid backwards, like around the whole map. I was like, oh god, no! Oh god, no! And like I felt my heart drop, and I was like, I can't lie to myself any longer. And I think I can't remember what I fucking messaged you. I think I said, it's just not fucking ready, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, it's starting to leak.
Yeah,
it's just not fucking ready.
Yeah. I can't remember what our chats were, but yeah, they spiraled. Definitely, they got pretty rough.
Yeah. So that happened, and then the rest is history. Just a couple of things, and I can see there's some real effort going into the chat here, so I just want to give it a shout out. Joaquin said Dishonored is on the Void engine, Prey is on the Cry engine. When's the last time they even worked in Unreal outside of this game? Yeah, this was the first time they worked on Unreal. Did they do that out of choice? Did ZeniMax make them do it because it was better for a multiplayer game? Don't know. You know, all of these things we just don't know. Joaquin also said it's number 2 on Game Pass right now. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I think people hate downloading the game.
They're playing it to make fun of it. Yeah.
It's like a hate fuck, you know? I don't know how else to say it. You know?
Yeah.
So is that funny? Is it?
No, it was such a savage way of putting it. It's like a hate fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
God. Oh, Tavish Hill is here. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Haven't any really bad bugs in 8 hours. That's great. You know, I'm happy. The problem is, you know, personally, I don't have time for this anymore. I don't have time for sick games in the 60s. And I know people are going to be really upset with that and say, don't play review scores, play games. That's fine if that's your like barometer. I know generally how aggregate scores correlate with my interests. Generally, you know, there are outliers. You know, generally I find 8s very enjoyable. 7s I like for a bit and then I tend to fall off. 9s and above, fantastic generally. There are exceptions on that wavelength. Yes, there are problems with 7 being the fucking norm instead of 5. I understand that. But in that context, that's generally how I know I function. And there are so many good games at the moment. And this is the funny thing. We were all like, why the fuck are they releasing Redfall between Jedi Survivor and Tears of the Kingdom? Now we know why, don't we?
Yeah.
It's on purpose. It was an accident. It was on purpose.
Yeah, they wanted to get that shit out of the way, didn't they? Yeah, man. I'm kind of the same. Like, I just don't really. I have so many games in my backlog anyway, and I played lots of gems, lots of good games that you know, people consider 60s, you know, 70s, that sort of thing. That's great, but I've seen enough of this game to know that I will not enjoy this. Like, I just won't have fun with this game. Like, I don't want to shoot enemies that just walk into walls and objects and clip through stuff, and vampires that don't even know I'm fucking there, and just I just don't want to do it. Like, and the characters seem boring. Like, I looked at like the skill trees and everyone talk about the skill trees. They're fucking boring, dude. There's like nothing to them. Like, you can tell they definitely just chopped up all these abilities and shit like that and just spread them across the classes. It's just fucking boring. Like, I don't.
There's so much potential.
Yeah. Yeah, like legit. Yeah, there was one person who was talking about the stealth character, which was hilarious, and he was saying like, yeah, like the objective, the whole point in the bird is to scout out people, right? And then there's an entire tree that's dedicated to making that bird damage people, so it completely negates stealth. But like, that is literally like such a large chunk of his skill tree, and if you go down that, the rest of his entire kit doesn't work. Like, he just doesn't like function properly as a stealth character if you go down that route. So it's almost like it was so stupid. Yeah, it just completely, like, if you just chose those few perks, the rest of the character just didn't matter or didn't work as intended. So it's just like, well, what were they doing? It's like, it's an innate clash with the character you're making. Yeah, it's so dumb. But yeah. Yeah.
It's so sad because I think on paper, I really like Redfall.
Yeah.
You know, vampires. They've got big old fucking hands. Science vampires. Like, you know, that is a cool concept. I like that. Vampire gods. You know, wasn't it? It just wasn't it.
No.
And you know what makes it even worse? Redfall has a lower score than Crackdown 3.
Yeah. It's one of the worst releases, like, I think, in Xbox history. I think, in terms of its size. Yeah. Like, Crackdown 3 was the only one to kind of take that crown. Yeah, and it's now worse than that technically. So. Whew.
And you know, we actually played Crackdown 3 from beginning to end, me and you. It was not good, but I had fun.
It was truly, truly awful. But yeah, we played that from start to finish.
Recall.
And I do think at some point, I think I will go to Redfall when there's an extreme drought.
I'll try
in
it at some
video
point.
games and I literally have nothing else to play ever. Then yes.
So next year.
Yeah, essentially next year. Or I might give it a little play before, you know, Xbox shut off all their servers and closed down. I might give it a little play. But yeah.
Just to confirm it with Tavish in the chat, yeah, we haven't played it. We were saying earlier in the show we just couldn't face it.
No, yeah, I and I know that's going to trigger some people to smash on a game so much and not even try it. But I have watched and consumed so much content on this game from even a non-mainstream point, like YouTubers that I've been subscribed to for ages and YouTube reviewers and stuff like that. I know that this game is not worth my time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not based solely on
special treatment.
It got a 6, so I'm just not going to play it. No, like I've looked at people trying to look at this game from a positive standpoint, and they can't even do it either. And I've seen so much of it to know. Yeah. But you know, some people might like it, and you might be enjoying it, and that's great. But it's just not for me.
If a multiplayer game came out at the same level, I would probably not bother, and I would say that looks rough. Man, that's all I'm doing here. Just saying the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I don't know if there's anything else we can add to this.
No.
I think, like you said, there were some reports afterwards that have come from Jeff and Jeff Grubb and from Jez that the game Xbox knew it was rough in advance, but we kind of already knew that. All we can do is be thankful that Harvey Smith has already said that he wants to go back to kind of linear immersive sim, and he doesn't. It's like, I'm happy for them to experiment. That's fine. It's more that this is a failure on the top end. You know, I just want them to make something that's good. You know, that's all.
Yeah.
That by consensus is good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
The only like residual worry I have with all of this is that it's going to affect talent. It doesn't appear to be. You know, they were a couple of days before launch. Harvey Smith was posting job positions on Twitter. You know, but this is the sort of thing that drives people to leave studios. You know, I hope that doesn't happen.
No,
it probably won't.
I hope not. Yeah, I hope it's just, you know, it's something that, you know, they probably realised, you know, everyone working on it as well, that this, you know, this probably isn't going to hit, right? And that's fine. Not every game needs to hit. I do understand that. And I do understand exactly what Phil was saying as well in the interview, where, you know, you don't want to crush creativity. You know, they might turn it around. They might make a decent game out of it. There's lessons to be learned, whether it's good or bad, right? But yeah, I just hope that they don't sort of, like you said, lose talent over this or anything like that, you know. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. It's okay. Everything's fine. I hope that you can find some enjoyment in Redfall. For now, I'm just disappointed with the unoptimized launch.
And
that's all it is. I'd have tried it if it was.
Yeah.
If it was polished, I'd have tried it. But the game's not working. I'm doing the same with Jedi Survivor. I'm not playing it because it's buggy right now. That's just how I operate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I do think I will try Redfall. I will try Redfall where it's at a state where, you know, it's not going to give me a headache playing it. You know, there's not bugs around every corner and stuff like that. And I know that bugs happen. You know, you can have a bugless playthrough if you're really lucky. I totally get that. But like, I just want it to be a bit more functional for me to spend some time with it. Because I don't have as much time as I used to play games these days. And I'll play Redfall when it reaches that sort of 7 mark, and I can have a bit of fun with it, and I can jump on with a friend and have a pretty okay time with it. Just like we kind of did with Crackdown. You know, we said the same thing with Crackdown. That game was garbage, but it was enough that we could still have fun with it, right? And we played it from start to finish, and we enjoyed Terry Crews whispering into the mic. It was a great time.
Love that shit. Love that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Fact is, this is not really a conversation I was hoping to have again.
No.
So it's okay. When it's not buggy, I'll play it. Like,
yeah, I feel like I said that too much recently.
Yeah. I can see some conversation in chat going on about Harvey leaving. There is no evidence for it. You know, I said we were going to doom and gloom, and then we're going to bloom. We're on the gloom right now, so it's just how it is.
There's
I just hope
fallout for these sort of things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I hope Xbox ultimately nurtures the studio. You know, like I said, Phil tried to take responsibility for it. Like he said, "Oh, we should have intervened earlier" or whatever. It's like, I mean, maybe. I mean, there should have been some quality control somewhere in that timeline. I don't know if that necessarily fell. It's clear that Xbox is taking the brunt now, but this is honestly one of those teething problems of the acquisition. That's how it feels to me. Because the responsibility of where that fell was a bit loosey-goosey, and now the fallout is the Xbox has to sort of take the brunt of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right. Oh, okay. I'm wondering where we should go to next. I think maybe we kind of stick on this conversation and we go straight through to the Phil Spencer argument, the Phil Spencer interview. It's a bit weird that I went straight to argument there. What? Like Freudian slip or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what was about? Okay, chat. You tell me. You tell me what you thought about this interview. Give me a couple of words. Good, bad, regret, hope, mistake.
Oh, bye, Timmer. Timmer's leaving.
Oh, bye, Timmer. See you later, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Did you watch it in the end?
I didn't watch the full thing, but I have watched the main points of it, and I did read obviously a lot of the main points on it as well. But no, I didn't sit down and watch the full 45-minute podcast. No.
Okay.
Or however long.
So there was one main takeaway. Well, for an Xbox podcast, there was a lot of main takeaways. For everyone else who hates Xbox, there was one main takeaway. And that's the bit that I've bolded at the bottom of that wall of text that I've got in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Phil said somewhere. But by the way, it was a really good interview. Let's put it out there. Kind of funny crew killed it. I know everyone has kind of said it. And also, you know, what a cool guy. I know we keep saying that as well. That interview was booked a while back, you know, according to the guys over at Kind of Funny. And Phil didn't back out. Like he stayed and he went there. And it didn't sound like they were scripted questions either. And we don't know that. But,
yeah,
you know, my man has balls after Redfall just drops to be like, yeah, I'm going to go on for a 45-minute interview.
Slam first, yeah.
Okay, so this is the quote that's got the whole internet in a bit of an enraged state.
Okay.
Quote: "We're not in the business of out-consoling Nintendo or Sony. I see commentary that if we just make great games, it will solve the problem when that doesn't really capture the reality of it. We lost the most important generation with Xbox One with the shift to the digital age. There is no outcome where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and then people start selling their PS5. That's just not going to happen." So just second part of it. Console will remain the core of the Xbox brand, but I know some people just want us to be the better green version of what the blue version do. But that's not a win for Xbox staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off and do our own thing with Game Pass, the stuff we do with xCloud, and the way we build our games.
Great.
I wonder what he said, what he meant. Oh, what if Xbox isn't interested in making games anymore?
Yeah.
They just want to make 60 games all the time now. They've given up. It's clear. GG's, everyone. Where have my eyeballs gone? Why is my prefrontal lobe fucking dribbled out of my nose? Why can't I read anymore? Words don't make sense. What's happening?
All right. I'm gonna have to nip this one in the bud. Yeah, I mean, I see not much wrong with this statement. Like, I think this is a pretty fair statement to make. And I think it's a statement that needed to be made, especially after release of something like Redfall, because I feel like that's amounted an absurd amount more pressure on Starfield that was already on it. And realistically, he's absolutely correct. You know, even if Starfield slaps as hard as Breath of the Wild did or God of War did, you know, the reality is people won't shift. People won't just buy and people won't just sell their PlayStation to play Starfield or anything like that. They might move to the platform, or they might buy an Xbox Series S or something like that. But realistically, something like that's not going to happen overnight. And essentially, what he's saying is, yeah, it doesn't solely rely on games. There's a lot more to a sort of a console ecosystem. You know, where it's making it an ecosystem, right? And that's what Xbox is going for. You know, they're going for this whole, you know, approaching it from so many different angles with Games Pass. For, you know, you can play it on PC. You know, they'll do partnerships where you can do it on streaming services, no doubt, and stuff like that. And then playing it xCloud, yeah, phones, TVs, all that sort of stuff. It's making it more accessible while still having these games come out and hitting. But yeah, it's weird to me that everyone is just like, oh, they're not in the business of making 10 out of 10 games. They're happy with 6 out of 10 games and putting it on 8 different platforms, you know. But that's not the way I see this. Yeah, very weird.
So there's not a little puddle of brain on the table in front of you that's come out of your nose. Is that correct? Just check for me. Okay.
No, we're good.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good job. If urine.
It's beneath.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, that's a shame. We did talk about Redfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can't believe this, to be quite honest with you. All the criticism that's come out of Redfall, I think, totally warranted. It's such a PR blunder, and honestly, as an Xbox fan, I think it's a bit disappointing. I was hoping for something that was going to be rated better, and that's not even if we weren't considering the 18-month gap from the last AAA game. This, however, seems like dogpiling. You know, and I think Joaquin was saying in the chat earlier. Even the way Redfall is being rated a little bit, but I think it's on the bad end of the spectrum. That game is bad, 6 out of 10. It's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that there was so much bad PR in the run up to that release that it kind of feels like the brand has just become a bit of a punching bag. And it kind of always is, to be honest with you. That's kind of how a lot of us kind of feel about the brand, that it's just kind of like, it's Xbox, can't do anything right, can they? That fucking green team over there.
Do you think this would have blown up quite how it did if this was a Sony exclusive and it dropped like this, right? Probably not. Like, it probably would have still got some attention, but no way to the point it has now.
Yeah, but like, this is the thing. Like, Forspoken just happened, and then the goalpost shifts. It's like, it's not first party. Like a month ago, everybody was saying that Redfall and Starfield doesn't count as first party because it's developed mostly before the acquisition. You know.
Yeah.
What fucking is it? But at the very least, this is a good fucking logic trap that we've got everyone in now. Now that Xbox has taken all the blame for Redfall, if Starfield does well, that means it has to be Xbox's fault. We've got them. We fucking got them. It's the big brain. It's the Galaxy play from Phil. Yeah. It's the Galaxy brain play. ship the bad one, and then Starfield can take all the credit. It's otherwise,
it's incredible.
Not the bad.
I wish they could do this without
not
shipping a bad game though. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah. Yep, and like Tavish is saying in chat, they just had The Last of Us port on PC. I mean, that is bad, but at the same time, it's a port. I don't feel it's on the same level. But nonetheless, I do agree with the overall point that Xbox generates negativity. I do.
Yes,
I do feel that way.
Yeah, it does. I think that's pretty fair.
So tying it all together for the interview, this feels like dogpiling. This feels like unnecessary dogpiling. Even from a strategic standpoint, at no point did Phil say, we're going to stop making we're going to stop making good games. We're actively going to make bad games. And that seems to be how people are kind of interpreting this. Because, and I've also seen some responses, because people have it so entrenched in their heads that these 4 exclusives that release a year are the single biggest purchasing factor. And the only data I've seen around this does not suggest that exclusives are the biggest factor. Don't get me wrong, they're big, especially for the hardcore audience like us. They're the big, they should be the ones with the most resources, the most technical kind of efficiency. Totally get that. But things like price, power of the console, these are things that are typically rated higher on motivations for console purchases.
Yes.
So when people are saying things like, "Oh, well, that's a stupid thing for Phil to say because why can't people buy both?" Well, why do you think, you fucking idiot? Most people don't buy double consoles. Like, okay, let's say in an ideal world, Xbox pumps out, a bunch more good exclusives over the next few years. There might be an extra, let's say, 5 million. For context, the estimates on VG charts are that Xbox is around 20 million and PlayStation 5 is around 35 million. Estimates, whatever. So let's say Xbox gets an extra 5 million because there are 5 million PlayStation owners who have decided, you know what, this is great. Xbox are kicking ass now. I'm going to get Series S as well. Right? Okay, 5 million. It's not putting them at number 1, is it?
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're going to be in the position they are, regardless of pumping out the next 5 games, first-party games, which are absolute 10 out of 10. They're still going to be in the situation they are. So, it goes into improving. It's improving stuff for longevity, isn't it? It's building. And it's weird to say that they're still building this foundation, they're still building this ecosystem, but that's what they're going for, really, at the end of the day. Because you said it right, where even if the next 5 exclusives are absolute fucking slam dunks, you might increase console sales and stuff like that, but it's not going to be dramatic enough to shoot you to first place. It's not all about the games. It's not all in the games. You can win people over in other ways and still, pump out games. So.
But also, the narratives always change. The narratives change. They always do.
Nice.
Did you like that?
I did.
That was good. That was from the titular Xbox first-party game Halo Infinite. That's a thing you've heard of that. I think so. Is that a word?
I don't know. I've never heard titular in my life.
I'm pretty sure titular is a word. I felt good when I was saying it. Yes. I might have used it out of context. It might have been bad English.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay? You all know what I meant. Point being, there have been multiple outlets, Tim, saying Xbox CEO has no interest in making good games anymore and should step down.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if you've seen this.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah. They're everywhere.
What the fuck is going on? That's the sort of thing that I would expect a 12-year-old to write on a YouTube comment, not a paid journalist. That's not what he said.
Well, like you said,
that's not what he said.
Gets clicks, gets the clicks. Xbox negativity gets the clicks, dude.
Xbox bad, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we just for the next, we're getting to our 100th episode. If for the next 100 episodes, I just called every episode Xbox Bad 1, Xbox Bad 2, Xbox Bad 3, I think we'd get more traffic.
I think we would. Yeah. I don't think we need to show up. We could just have static noise and we'd still get more views and subscribers. Yeah.
Every now and again, we'll just pop into the room and be like, Xbox bad. And then
Yeah.
walk out.
And like just our background is just Phil Spencer's face with a red X around it. Like the cancel fucking.
Yeah. And Kratos fucking smacking him with a Leviathan axe.
Yeah. Done.
Smacking. And a lot of these articles, same stuff. So if they're not saying Phil Spencer should step down, they're saying Xbox has struggled to put out a good game. If not since the start of the gen, since the 360.
Did anyone see the start of this year for us?
Yeah. I'm like so fucking over this, and I keep talking about this on Twitter, and I'm like, I'm tired of repeating myself because I'm. Why am I having to do this? Like, it makes it a bit existential, because it's like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose if my you pass the butter? If what I'm seeing as a fact, is not something that's seen by everyone else, what's the point? Hi-Fi Rush 90. Grounded, 82. Pentiment, 87. Forza Horizon 5. 2 of them are Game of the Year contenders. Flight Sim, 93. Gears Tactics, 83. IGN, of the games I just listed, gave 3 of them Game of the Year. And then those fuckers came out and they were like, they just haven't put out any good games. Okay, you're different reviewers. Read your own fucking material. You know what I mean? I'm so over. I've said this before. If those games aren't for you, that is fine. That is fucking perfectly understandable. No problem. But don't come to me and say there hasn't been good releases, especially if you're going to be like we have today. The aggregate score for Redfall is bad, and I'm not playing that. But if you're then going to look at the good aggregate scores for the good games and be like, doesn't count, does it? I'm not playing bug game.
Yeah.
So what you really mean is Xbox has not released a good AAA game in 18 months. And that would be perfectly reasonable. Because Halo, whatever, has its own controversy. It was good. Service was shit. Forza Horizon 5 was less than a month before that. So Psychonauts 2 was a month before that as well, and that was a first-party game. And this is the narrative fucking changing, and I'm just so confused that this is still kind of going. Like, we've had good games, it's just that they haven't fallen in this category. Tim, I've been talking for a long time. I'm really sorry. What do you think?
No. I don't think there's much more to say on it. I completely agree. There's like this weird category that everyone seems to just go by, and it's a category that, as of recently, seems to fit Sony and seems to fit Nintendo games a lot more than the likes of Xbox and stuff like that. And yeah, I completely agree. Xbox has had some absolute major hitters from a first-party standpoint, but yeah, for some reason they don't fall into this AAA category, or they're not as publicized, and people just overlook them, and I just don't know why. It's very weird, and I mean, yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, you are right. And it's just weird. It's almost forcing Xbox to try and compete by making similar games to Sony and trying to outdo them. And it's just it's just not going to happen, because Sony already have established that they are better in that area, at least from a single player narrative perspective and stuff like that. So why fight a losing battle? Which is exactly what Phil Spencer was saying in the interview, is why they want to try new things. They want to be more creative. They want to go in a different direction to what Sony's going in, because why fight an uphill battle? I don't understand. So fucking yeah. That's all I have to say.
And that's not even including, you know, the digital conversion that we spoke about. Like, people aren't going to, having spent thousands of dollars, you know, in the PlayStation ecosystem, they are not going to then just sell that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
not
was
gonna
saying this
happen.
yesterday, wasn't I? When we were playing Pit People, I was like, "There's no realistic chance that I'm ever going to switch to Sony or switch to anything other. You know, the most drastic change I'll ever make is maybe I'll move to like a gaming PC if I'm really sick of Xbox putting console second or whatever. Because I have such an insanely big digital library, I'm essentially just flushing away thousands of pounds. Like, I'm locked in at this point, whether I like it or not, and I'm a Redfall main." That's it. It's done. I have to enjoy my 60 Metacritic games.
Yeah. It's true. And I'm seeing some really good conversation in the chat as well. Things like Immortality as well, Vampire Survivors. These are still Xbox exclusive games. They might be timed. That's fine. And this is the other side of it as well. So not only the digital age thing, but Sony and Nintendo, mostly Sony, you know, obfuscating, you know, isolating Xbox as a platform with their timed exclusivity deals, which are apparently perfectly competitively non-regulated. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's perfectly fine. Yes, that's absolutely fine. No problem there at all. 20 years timed exclusivity. That's perfectly fine. Do that on the biggest games ever made. That's fine.
I'll play Final Fantasy VII.
You want to own it
when I'm on live support, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can have it fucking injected into my veins. You want to own it and put it on every platform and more? Not allowed. You want to not own it and lock it down for 5, 10, 30, 40, 50 years? Oh, fucking go right ahead. Yeah. That's competition. That is. Yeah. You know, and PlayStation can do that because they've got a bigger foothold. You know, it's an abusive market position. They've done that with Street Fighter V, with the Final Fantasies. Supposedly, insiders are now saying that's also going to happen with a Metal Gear 3 remake. It's also going to happen with a Silent Hill remake, and it's also going to happen with a new Castlevania.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. All very big games.
And they've done
big franchises.
All very big games. Knights of the Old Republic is still a thing that's going to happen as well. You know.
Yeah.
And somehow Sony have worked this messaging so well that even though they haven't explicitly called any of these things full exclusives, in fact, the Final Fantasy remakes originally said timed, but people are treating these like their first party games. You know, they're saying, if you go on any other of sort of the main outlet podcasts, you know, they'll say, oh, well, Sony has Spider-Man 2 and Final Fantasy this year. And it's like, well, Final Fantasy isn't a PlayStation game. It's a timed exclusive. I mean, it's just funny that something like Immortality doesn't count. You know?
Yeah. It's true.
Final Fantasy does count.
Yeah. It is weird.
And so it becomes, again, that thing of fighting the uphill battle. Like, why does and like the Japanese developers, why does Xbox have to pay triple the amount? It's just not good business, is it? It's just not good business. So we're circling back to this quality argument of like, when you do the aggregate comparisons, and Tavish will know all about this, we've had conversations about this on Twitter, the aggregate comparisons between PlayStation and Xbox are very similar, depending on how you slice it up, how the first parties, which first party games count, which don't, from what year, from what time, yada, yada. They're really similar. There's like a 2 to 3 point difference, and I think it's in the mid 80s. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, for both of them. So they're really close on quality since the start of the new gen. Nintendo is way down in like the 80s, maybe high 70s. So you explain to me why the fuck everybody owns 7 Switches on the planet. Everybody owns 7 Switches.
It's true.
Is it equality?
I mean, you could argue that a Switch is cheaper, but then it's still a lot of money.
Exactly.
But yeah. Yeah, they're competing in a different space. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're competing.
That's right.
Their console is £300 cheaper, or $250 cheaper. It's half the price.
It's cheaper. It has a portability aspect. It has a local play aspect that the other two console manufacturers just don't. Xbox wants to create its own identity, and that was Phil's takeaway point. You know, they want to be able to do their own thing and have their own properties and develop their own games, and that's going to have growing pains.
Yeah, growing pains. Yeah, it's going to take time. Yeah, to establish this identity. Yeah.
And it's pushed the direction of the industry in better directions. Everybody has a subscription service now. None are as good as Game Pass. Xbox has cloud. Other services have tried to do similar things. Not that many people are using cloud. It's still quite good for what it is as part of the package. You know, we've got other features like smart delivery, backwards compatibility, and all of that lovely stuff. It's creating its own identity. And that was Phil's point, that they need to go away. And it wasn't him saying, we're not going to make great games anymore. It was him saying, we're not going to just try and copy what someone else is doing because we're just going to lose.
Yeah.
We can't win that way. And that's the problem with the perception, right? It's like, if we just keep doing God of War Green Man edition, we'll catch up.
No. Okay. Yeah. No, you won't. And then, yeah, people are twisting his words when he says something like that to insinuate that he's giving up and he doesn't want to focus in these specific areas and all that kind of stuff. But it's just, it's completely the opposite. He's trying to take Xbox in its own direction and to new heights, and he definitely has done that. I think this is the best Xbox has been for a while in terms of establishing its own identity and its own way of moving forward, how it deals with first-party exclusives, you know, all that sort of stuff as well, and Games Pass, everything. Like, he's taken it way better than it ever was, because at one point it essentially was just in the same foot space as PlayStation, but worse, you know, and now I feel like it is starting to separate from that. But it does take time, and of course it's you know, it doesn't help with lackluster releases like Redfall and stuff like that. Obviously, this is just initial rage as well. I do think it's just like, people do tend to be a lot more snappy when something is fresh in their brain. You know, people will literally twist his words and be very aggressive to him just because they're angry that Redfall did come in at such a low score. But yeah, no, I think absolutely I like what Phil said as a Xbox owner and it being my primary console type. I'm not worried about what he said, and I actually think it's the right move. It's the right move to make. Like, absolutely.
Yep, I'm with you. Xbox bad.
Xbox bad. That's a good poll. That's your best poll yet. You're gonna get sick.
Thank you. I really put a lot of thought.
Yeah. Imagine if it just comes in, it's just like 1 million people voted.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's a 50-50. Oh, which is it gonna be?
Yeah, it's but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, super rough. That's the quote out of all of it that's easily caught the most flack. I really hope that when we look backwards 2 years from now, we can say Redfall was an anomaly, you know, and it was a clear anomaly that came from the acquisition, and we're speculating from the Providence share equity in ZeniMax that was forcing multiplayer on these studios all this time, and it was an anomaly. And even right now, we can look back at this gen and we can say that's an anomaly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I think the lowest aim,
cracking start to the year, and 2022 was great, but it wasn't as bad as people were saying. But yeah, like, absolutely. I think even looking at this from the point we're at now, this is an anomaly. Yeah, this is an outlier, and you know, I'm sure Starfield's gonna be good. I'm sure.
It's another conversation.
I'm sure it's gonna be good, man.
Well, Joaquin did mention earlier in the chat about that, so we'll come around to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other game that's really been low since the start of this gen from Xbox is Minecraft Legends. Came in at like a 70, didn't it? 71. Bit lower than anticipated. Yeah. Feels a bit harsh, but you know, that is what it is. I've played it. I think it's quite cool. I intend to keep playing it. And then we had As Dusk Falls, which was a publishing game, and that was 78. But other than that, everything's been in the 80s, man. And they've had multiple games in the 90s. Will of the Wisps, Ori Will of the Wisps came out just before the start of the console gen. I think it was 2020. And that was in the 90s, So even now, it's an anomaly. So, Starfield. Chat, give me a temperature check on how we're feeling about Starfield. Has this affected things? Tim, has this affected things for you? Is this shaking you up? Are you having trauma shakes?
No, I don't think it has at all. I think it would have if more light wasn't shed on the fact of the state Redfall was in, like right from the get go. If that makes sense, like almost hearing that Redfall was kind of pretty lukewarm / not a great project right from the get go that they didn't want to cancel has made it sort of better for me in terms of trusting Starfield, weirdly enough. And yeah, I'm still, my hopes are extremely high for Starfield. I think the game is going to slap. I think that this is just something that Bethesda have poured all their time and resource into. Xbox have poured all their time and resource into. No. Basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah. This hasn't really shaken my confidence for Starfield.
TLDR, no.
No.
Yeah. I've got to admit, it did at first, but since cooling down, no. I mean, it's obviously a different studio. Starfield doesn't seem to have any remnants of service games, which I don't know why they would anyway. Like, there's less incentive. Even at the time when Providence did have that share in ZeniMax, all of Bethesda Game Studios games have printed money. So I would have seen that as one of the only Bethesda studios that the shareholders would have looked at and been like, no, we don't need multiplayer in that game, because they've always their games have always sold gangbusters and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's definitely creating a lot of FUD around the game. I just quickly Googled it now. The first thing that came up was, but Starfield is going to be good, right? From Forbes.
Yeah.
It's created a bit of uncertainty, which is a shame. But, all we can do is keep our toes crossed and our fingies crossed that Todd has pulled this together. Because gamers have short memories. If this comes out 85 plus, we good. We vibing again.
Yes. Yes.
And not only that, so far we've only really spoken about like Bethesda games, right? Bethesda doing the heavy lifting this year with Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, and Starfield.
Yeah.
All of those first-party games that we haven't seen, we haven't even gotten to this part of the conversation because Phil spoke about it on the Kind of Funny podcast as well. Things like Avowed, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, Fable. The list keeps going. Contraband, maybe a Gears 6, Compulsion's game with Project Midnight, In Exile's game with Project Cobalt. Some of those things haven't been shown. Some of them have been shown. That will be the real test, I think, for the Xbox first party studios quality and if that's really been nurtured. And tentatively we can say yes, because Pentiment was excellent, Forza Horizon 5 was excellent, Grounded was excellent. So that's all on the horizon as well. So I think momentum could build up really quickly for the brand if Starfield does well. And then, it's Hellblade at the end of the year. I forgot about Hellblade. Hellblade at the end of the year. Avowed is Q1 24. Right. A Fable Q4 24. Yeah. And there's the technical showcase, because that's the other side of it, isn't it? A lot of people are disappointed with the lack of AAAs because Series X is a big boy, powerful boy, but hasn't really had a technical. Well, it's tricky because Flight Sim and Forza Horizon 5, but it hasn't had a next gen. People want to feel that the console is being pushed to its fullest, and for whatever reason, Flight Sim doesn't count. So. And Forza Horizon 5 doesn't count because it's cross-gen. So people want to feel that the console is being pushed to its fullest on a game that they want to enjoy.
Yes.
For most people, that's not Flight Sim.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely do agree with you that there's a lot of momentum to be generated from Starfield doing well here. But then equally, there's so many of those games that you listed, not being like pessimistic or anything, they are gigantic question marks. Like, obviously,
Yo,
Perfect Dark has had some issues with its development and stuff like that, and I think people were not nervous about it, but it's it's been kind of shaky. It's been up and down. It's been questionable. People aren't really too sure what's going on with it. Fable's being taken up by a studio that's never made a game like that. Um, and what was the other one you said? State of Decay. Their previous games have been pretty lackluster. You'd like to hope that pumping a bit more money into it might be great, but like they're all massive question marks, man. And you can see all of them potentially dropping at the wayside. Like there's no like given like these games are gonna hit. These games are 85s, like they're big old question marks, dude. I have a lot more faith in something like Starfield than any of those. And yeah, with the positivity Starfield can generate will help those games, like you said, for sure, and people's outlook on them. But yeah,
such a doomer, dude.
I'm not. You can't say that you disagree with that. They're all. I have faith, and I want to have faith, but there's a lot up in the air with those projects. Can you confidently say that Playground Games are gonna fucking smash a Fable game? They've never made anything that's not behind a wheel. Like, I'd love to say that it's gonna be fucking fantastic, but they haven't. They just haven't done it. So you just don't know.
But what you don't understand is that they're making Fable Kart.
Oh, well, that's 95. Easy. I feel stupid.
Yeah, there are a handful of projects in there that I'm watching tentatively, that I'm cautiously optimistic about. But there are a handful that I think are easy slam dunks. I think Starfield is a slam dunk.
Yeah, so do I.
It might not have a 60 frames mode. Okay, big deal. It's the most fucking ambitious game ever made in the history of video games.
Yeah.
We can stomach that, guys. And maybe they won't. Phil said that in the interview that we will definitively know in advance, not fucking a week before if it's going to be 60 or 30. That's fine. Maybe after lots of optimization, they can get 60 in, whatever. That's not the point. Starfield, I think, is a slam dunk.
Yes.
Avowed is a slam dunk. Obsidian have never made a bad fucking game. I said that about Arcane as well.
Yeah.
It hasn't been wrapped up in the same shit that Bethesda has. Hellblade 2, slam dunk.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport, slam dunk. Outwards 2, slam dunk.
Yeah. No, I agree with those, and I didn't list those. I left those out on purpose. Every game that you just said there, I listed Fable, I listed State of Decay, and I listed what was the other one? Something else. And Contraband is a big fucking question mark as well. I don't even know what the fuck that game is.
Yes.
Like,
it's got a good soundtrack though.
It's got a good soundtrack, but it's probably a mashup of loads of fucking genres, and who knows, it might not fucking work. So I don't know. But yeah, like there's a lot of interesting things happening. And I think that's what Phil Spencer's trying to say, is they're trying new things and they're being experimental. And that's great. That's fucking great. But being experimental does sometimes come at a cost. Redfall.
And he said
is one of them.
He said that.
It was experimental and it came at a cost. A very, very rough cost. But
he said that I would rather give studios the ability to be creative and put out the occasional 60 than force them to crank out sequels to get consistent 80s.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yes, I think most people do. I think most people in their right mind do agree with that. Like, because even again, like, look at even now, like a lot of outlets and we'll say this like it's some hypothetical. Look at even what we've got now. We've got Grounded, very creative. We've got Pentiment, very creative. A Gears Tactics, that's sick. A Flight Sim, an Age of Empires, definitive edition. I guess it's a remaster, so wherever you put that on that spectrum. Psychonauts, I'd say a lot of these games are not by the numbers. I don't know.
No, they're not.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So, oh, Phil, look what you've done. Look what you've done, Phil. Have you? It was pointed out to me the other day that Phil is the longest running Xbox CEO.
Yeah.
He's been in that position the longest.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that either, but it makes sense to me. He's definitely he's definitely taken it in new directions and to new heights. You know, it has been its most profitable it's ever been. So you can't say he's doing a bad job. He's had some blunders, but you can't say he's doing a bad job.
Yeah. And that will, we will hold when it's all said and done, the two things I will no doubt say that Phil could not get right, at least for a while, was Halo and AAA exclusives. I think he's done great on pretty much everything else.
Yes, I would agree with that.
3 out of 10.
Yeah. So overall, 1 out of 10. Bin him. Bin him. Fucking bin Weevil.
Step down. Bin Weevil, yeah. All right, let's go bloomer mode. We've done that. Negatives out of the way. This is a shame. This is a red spot. Let's hope it's an anomaly, as we move forward. And I think it will be. I genuinely do think it will be. And it's such a good year for games anyway that I kind of am over this. I can move past this. I think we will hear about Redfall fucking for months, unfortunately. I think the FUD will continue unless Xbox has a really kick-ass showcase. Even then, I think it will be kind of a mallet against Xbox. Oh, well, look at Redfall. I can't deliver anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't trust anything they say. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what I really respect about Phil, what he said. He said, I can't remember the exact quote, but, where is it? I don't want to misquote him. Okay. He was speaking about the showcase, and that's kind of the last story we're going to touch on for today, everyone. And he said, I'm very enthusiastic. I'm not going to try and oversell the showcase because if I was on the other side of this, watching it, after Redfall, I'm going to need to put my hand on the controller, and that's what it's going to take to prove to me. I'm very enthusiastic about the showcase. We're going to announce some things that people haven't seen, some new games. We're going to give updates to some of the things that were on your list in reply to Paris, and the games he mentioned were Avowed, Perfect Dark, Everwild, Fable, State of Decay 3, Contraband, Hellblade 2, and the NXL and Compulsion games. So he is essentially saying, I get that you're tired of me talking. You need to have your hands on the controller. And I respect that because that is where I'm at.
Yeah. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. You've done well on these smaller scope games. They've been great. Let's knock out some of the big ones. And then I, as a consumer, can be like tippy toppy happy, So just to finish off the quote. The other thing that gets me really excited when I look forward over the next quarter, which has always been the focus of how do we get a big game out every quarter at quality? That things are lining up finally after the slowdown of COVID. I'm tired of talking about that, but I can now see that we've got games coming every quarter that will surprise and delight our customers. We still have to deliver on the creative and the technical. Not every game we're going to ship is going to be for everybody, but I'm not trying to build the one game to rule them all. We have a very diverse portfolio. We aren't trying to mimic any of the other platforms out there. We need to create our own brand and identity that will hopefully end up being a strength, but we have to do it at quality. Lovely.
Great. Yeah. I think that sounds great.
So, what's happening at Showcase, That's exciting. That's exciting. I mean, well, I'm more excited. As a hypothetical, I'm not going to go into that right now.
It sounds like it's going to be a fucking beast, doesn't it? By the way he's saying that it's going to answer questions of, games we want to hear about and that were listed. And also, show off some new ones. I love seeing new shit. I want to see updates on Avowed. That's the big one for me. I want to see Avowed. But I love seeing new shit as well, man. So I'm really excited for the showcase. Yeah, and Redfall has not put a damper on that for me, really. I'm still pretty buzzed to see this.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? As someone that's what makes me feel a little bit sane. To me, Redfall was an obvious bump in the road. For other people, they seem to feel it's a failure in a long line of failures over the last few years, when it's not. You've just been tricked by the algorithm. You've been tricked by the media, the Xbox PR of Redfall has 30 frames. Xbox hasn't sold very well. This has happened and that, and it's just like article after article, which kind of generates this mind fog of Xbox bad. And when you start asking people, what do you mean by that? Because look at all these quality games. People are like, they'll just call you a fucking idiot or something,
Yeah.
It's really exciting, and I think that's where we need to be at. It sounds like we are going to see something like gameplay for Avowed, because the key art, I don't know, man, that
Seems
key
very
art for the
Avowed,
showcase, that looked like Avowed to me. And if there is any one game, I've said this before, if there's any one game that the community is rallying behind, it's Avowed. For somehow it almost feels like Avowed is the community's rallying around that more than Starfield.
Weirdly, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
it's just that Obsidian have a spotless record, I guess, and they know that the universe is great, in the Pillars of Eternity universe. Whereas there is already a little bit of fun about Starfield. Oh, it's not 30. Oh, it's like some frame drops.
It's gonna happen, bro. Yeah, I'm also excited just to see more of Starfield too. Like, genuinely, we're gonna see the most we ever have of Starfield. This is getting its own showcase separate. And hopefully that's going to help it with the time up until its launch. Having so much more content to digest and analyze, and hopefully it's going to fill everyone with a little bit more confidence. Even though I have quite a lot of confidence in the game already. So yeah, I'm just really excited. Like, genuinely, like, for the showcase, the Starfield showcase. We're all going to meet up and watch it, and it's going to be a great old time. It's gonna be a buzzing old time.
God Howard will answer our prayers. We're gonna
have tequila on the table, ready to go. We're gonna have, no doubt, some kind of bingo.
Yes,
it's gonna be great. Be a good time.
Hell yeah. So just to confirm, you saw it, didn't you? Like, we don't know the exact timings, but all we know is that it's like there's a showcase and then there's a direct immediately after.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, they're doing the showcase extended.
Those are
like they've done in previous years.
Yeah, those are sometimes pretty fun.
They're quite fun usually.
Yeah. Stealth drop.
Joaquin, we won't be streaming it this year, unfortunately, because we're in person and we've got other friends around.
Yeah,
we will do. Yeah, we'll just do a podcast reaction, talk everything through afterwards. I don't really know if there's anything else to say.
No.
Surprises, maybe shadow drops, probably not. I don't know.
Avowed shadow drop, dude. It's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And we just know that there's so much in development. We've gone over this so many times, and that that shelf has got to break soon. There's so many things that are going to be ready to go. As long as they've been held to a quality bar, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. So, ladies and gents, that's going to be it for today. We had some other silly little bits of news. There's a new UI. You've seen it already. You don't need us to talk about it. There was a Game Pass trailer for 2023. Hellblade 2 was in it. Oh, hey.
Ooh, let's go.
Maybe Hellblade 2 this year. And this is what I mean, by the way, while we're in the outro. Momentum can pick up very quick. Good showcase. Forza Motorsport in July. Starfield in September. Surprise, Hellblade 2's out in December. That's 3 first-party games. All Game of the Year slam dunks, I would say. Game of the Year, like, nominee slam. And that's not including Hi-Fi Rush, which is already, I would say, a Game of the Year contender.
Definitely.
And Pentiment, by the way, is in this year. It's not last year.
Big.
So we're going to see a big, unless something goes catastrophically wrong, we're going to see a big presence of Xbox at the Game Awards this year. And that's great. That's, because Xbox will have released a lot of games. And that's where we need to be.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Stalker 2 as well. That's scheduled for this year as well. Yeah, Tavish is. He also said replaced in Planet of Lana or Lane. I've never heard of the Planet one, but yeah, Stalker 2. Yeah, that's a big deal for a lot of people. That's a very beloved sequel to a very beloved game. So yeah, that should hopefully.
Planet of Lana looks lovely.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of it. So I might give it a little search after this game. But after this game? After this podcast? I need to go. I need to go.
Just a game to you?
I need to
no problem, dude. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. I know. Look, when people get emotional, you say things and you disagree sometimes. I'm sorry. It's how it is. We hope it's been okay and you've walked away from this unscathed. Overall, we're very excited about the brand. I think this past week has been fucking ridiculous, and I hope I don't have to endure this anymore because it's highly unenjoyable as someone who enjoys the product in my living room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an L for everyone. Let's just take the L and move on. And if you're enjoying Redfall, good for you, man. I know Tavish, you're playing it. You keep having fun with that, man. But yeah, it was a bit of an L. But yeah, let's move on.
Rad. All right, everyone. We'll be back next week for episode 99. Depending on the news flow for this week or next week or the week after, we're going to do our annual Xbox Game Studios tier list. We'll fucking do it live, maybe? We didn't do it live last time, did we?
No, we did do it live. We did do it live.
Did we?
I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. But yeah. It shouldn't be hard to do.
You might have to have a look how to do that. Oh, you just have to screen share it, won't you? And then just go on the tier list maker.
It's easy. Yeah, we could literally just do it. We have a live viewing tab, and I just have the tier list up, and we just place.
That'll be fun. Yeah. That'll be fun, and we'll actually have people in the chat this time who can tell us when we're wrong and making silly mistakes.
Guys can place
like putting Arcane in Esther
with us. Yeah. It'll be a good time.
And 343 and 8. Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, guys, you've been great. Catch you on the flip side. Drink some water. Stay warm. Please end up and can you close the show?
Bye, everyone.